Every year, there are 1.7 million traumatic brain injury incidences, and there are 5.3 million people living with the effects of a traumatic brain injury. And right here in the state of Washington, we have 120,000 who are living with traumatic brain injury effects. Terry Home is actually the only two places in the whole state of Washington that are specifically designed for traumatic brain injury survivors. Terry Home began from a mother's dream to find a home for her then 18-year-old son who was in a car accident. And the car accident left him in a coma for 3 months and with a traumatic brain injury.
Tim and I had visited Terry in the nursing home a few times. So trying to get him out of a geriatric nursing home into a home where, we could be around people his own age.
And at 18 years old, we, as a family, did not like the fact that he had roommates that were 80 years old. It was just not the right fit.
When he was there was some other young adults that came in with head injuries, and my mom then had an idea there was nowhere else for him to go, so she had an idea to build a home for young adult survivors of traumatic brain injuries.
Terry had his accident in 1984. And it was, I think, in 1986 when we actually incorporated Terry Home. And we went on like a 10-year journey of trying to raise money, do grant writing, to build a home for young adults who've all survived traumatic brain injury.
The first fundraiser was a cookbook. And it didn't do so hot. It's really cool though, and we still have some, so. And then we started, we had an auction, we had a car show we started, and we're still doing that annually.
We bought some property, finally, and did the designs, and in 1996 we opened our first home in Pacific for 10 young adults who have all survived traumatic brain injury.
I've been here for 10 years.
About 9 years.
Oh, I've been here since 02 or 03, about 12 or 13 years, and it is awesome, this place here. I love it here.
Rob had a great empathy for people, loved reading, writing, wrote poetry. He loves music, very involved in scouting, adventuresome, camping, loves the beach, and just a great joy for life. I got a call from my husband telling me that I needed to get home because the state patrolman had just called and said that Rob had been hit by a car and that he was being airlifted to Harborview. Here he is, 12 years old, 5'8", size 12 shoes, and he just had a little scratch on his cheek. And I said to him, I bent down and I said, Mom and Dad are here and you won't be alone. And you're going to be involved in one of the greatest fights you've ever had to be involved in. And you're a winner, you're a fighter, and you will make it. The doctor came to us and he said, we're going to have to operate on your son. And he said, I don't know if we'll have to remove part of the brain or not, but he said that's a possibility. Fortunately, 6 hours later, he did not have to remove any part of Rob's brain. And we go in to see Rob, and he has a metal probe in the top of his skull. He's on life support system. He's in an induced coma. And he was that way for about 2 weeks. Rob had to relearn how to read, write, walk, and talk, how to feed himself, everything. He graduated with his graduating class in high school. And at the age of 27, he was living independently. He became very ill, and he had to be airlifted again to Harborview, and it was pneumococcal meningitis. After being in intensive care for 3 months, they told us that he came out of the coma. He's still paralyzed on the left side. He has to be placed on a hammock from his bed to a wheelchair and strapped into a wheelchair. And they said we would have to find a nursing home.
And I think they had a therapist come in that would give them some things they could do. And they worked with him some, but they were limited to what they could do because they weren't a facility for that. So the caregivers and everybody here is geared towards rehabbing head injury people. And they have a lot of equipment that they have access to, and it's specifically for that. So.
I like the new step too. That gets you going.
Rob is walking on his own. He volunteers at the senior center. He's presently living at Terry Home. He has his own place. You know, he's not having to be stuck with mom and dad. And it's a very nurturing environment. They're given independence, decision making. It's a community. And I just, we can't say enough about it. It's wonderful.
So we have anywhere from high functioning individuals, what we call high functioning. They walking around, they look like you and me. They may have a little speech problem sometimes or don't understand things very well sometimes, but otherwise you wouldn't know they had a brain injury. We have some people who need a lot of help. They'd be in a wheelchair, need help transferring, showering, and things like that. Some people don't talk very well, or they don't understand things very well, or they'll have behavioral problems, and it's a big range.
There's always something to do if we just do it. I like the people, the caregivers, and there's a church right down the street, and I also go there for Bible study.
Bro, I love my plants more than anything in this entire home, bro. Man, because man, look at them, bro. They're so alive and happy. Okay, well, those ones are awesome, bro. Man, it's like, bro, bro. Man, that plant kicks ass. Bro, it does, bro. Look at it, bro. It's all alive and all happy.
Terry made my day every day. Now there is a Terry Home too, so I miss Terry with all my heart, but still, this is an awesome place to live in.
Then our home in Auburn opened in 2013, and we're just really pleased that we can now provide housing for 22 young adults who've all survived traumatic brain injury. And we're also real excited about the fact that we've had at least 10 young adults who've graduated onto more independent living. And so that's really what we're here for, and we want to see these young people be able to get back out into the community if they can. And if they can't, then we want to provide a nice home-like environment for them to live. And that's one reason why we kept the homes as small as we did. We wanted them to be more in a home-like environment and not an institution. And so since it is smaller, we're able to give more one-on-one attention to them.
Well, my plan, oh yeah, Joanne's here.
I like to just get to know each of the residents, and it's nice to just be a little part of their day and make them smile a little bit, or share a joke with them. It's, you know, just that personal one-on-one, make a connection with them is important. And I like it when they make improvements, when you see that they finally accomplished something that they really wanted to accomplish. So that's one of my favorite things.
I'm getting ready to kick my chair to the curb. Woo-hoo!
We are a nonprofit organization, a lot of emphasis on the nonprofit. We get a daily rate paid from the DSHS for the care of the residents but that does not meet the expenses that we have. So therefore we have to do fundraising, we have to do grant writing. So if anyone has any desire to help us financially, we certainly appreciate that.
It would be nice to have more caregivers to provide more individual care for the residents, take them places more, do things with them more. A lot of our residents can't go out into the community by themselves. They'll get lost. They can't, take things off the shelf because they're unable to, reach up and grab what they want off the shelf. They can't count money out to buy the things that they want, or they can't, just go for a walk like we would if you wanted to go for a walk. You'd get up and go for a walk. Well, they can't just do that. And so it kind of limits them. They're kind of trapped almost in a home, It's as nice as we can make it, they can't just go do the things they want to do.
Just to be a part of the community, that gives them so much self-worth.
I'm a social butterfly still, as you can tell. I love people.
On the family side, it's real difficult to see your loved one's life change. And especially when you come in and he says, what am I going to do with the rest of my life? And why can't I walk? Because they can remember that they can walk. And you might ask them what they had for lunch, and of course they don't remember because their short-term memory is not all that great. But I think that's one of the things that's really difficult for a family member is, remember the family member before and now afterwards, and they're struggling, and how can we help them? And sometimes we can't, but sometimes we can by just being there and providing Terry home.